Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'll show you how to create and animate a simple 3D cube in After Effects. Whether you're a complete beginner or looking to upgrade your skills, this tutorial is for you. Let's get started. I'm going to create a new composition. For this tutorial I'll use 1280 by 720 resolution at 30 frames per second. I'm going to create a new solid by right clicking, going to new and solid. We are going to make it 500 by 500, give it a bluish color. This layer is 2D, and to work in 3D space we need to convert it into a 3D layer. We can do that by simply clicking on this cube icon. You can see that these handles will appear on our layer, and it indicates that we can move the layer in 3 dimensions. If I press P on my keyboard, I can see that beside X and Y, I also have Z. This also goes for rotation. When working in 3D space, it is crucial to be able to see your scene from different angles. After Effects gives us several 3D views. So if I go here and click on this menu, we can see that there are several views, and by clicking on any of them, you can change your viewport. Play around with these to get comfortable seeing your scene from different angles. For easy navigation, we can use Unified Camera tool. You can access it by hitting C on your keyboard. Click and drag to orbit around your scene. If we cycle through C, we can see different tools. For example, with this one we can move around, and with this one we can zoom in and out. Just practice with these tools. It's your best friend for 3D navigation. We are going to duplicate our layer by going to Edit, Duplicate. Since our solid is 500 by 500 and we are trying to create a cube, we need to move this layer in the Z axis by 500 pixels. If I press P on my keyboard and type 500 on my Z property, you can see that the layer moved back by 500 pixels. And with the Unified Camera tool, I can just move around to have a better understanding of my scene. We can just duplicate our layer and rotate it and put it on each side. But I'm gonna show you a better and faster way. We are going to create a new null object by right clicking here, going to new and selecting null object. We're gonna make it 3D. I'm pressing P for position, and I'm gonna type 250 because I want it in the middle of 2 layers. Then we are going to parent these 2 layers into the null object. Now if I move my null object, both layers move. So this helps us to create 2 sides at a time. We're gonna just duplicate everything and move it to the upside. Now if I select this null object and rotate it in the Y axis by pressing R on my keyboard, we're gonna rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm pressing C on my keyboard. You can see that we have 4 sides of our cube, and now we don't need this null anymore. Next, I'm gonna create a new light by right clicking, going to new and choosing light. For this tutorial, I'm gonna use a point light. So now we have a better understanding of our scene. And just choose a position that works for you. We also need to create our top side. So I'm gonna choose one of the sides and duplicate it. Next, I'm gonna rotate it. If I hold shift while I'm rotating, I can rotate by 45 degrees. So we need to move it on the Z axis by 250 pixels because it's in the middle. If I press P and zero out my Z first to bring it in the middle, Then we need to decrease the Y by exactly minus 250. Next, I'm going to create a floor. I'm going to layer, new, choosing solid. We're going to make this one much bigger. Then we're going to make it 3D, rotate it in the X axis by 90, and press P on the keyboard and move it down by 250. After Effects actually do the calculation for us. You just need to type in plus 250. Now we have a floor. I'm gonna rename our layer to floor. Then we're gonna duplicate it and go to Effect, Generate, and Grid. We're gonna change the color to something darker. As you can see, we have a floor. Next, we are going to add some shadows to our scene. We are going to select our side and double press A on your keyboard. I'm just gonna press the tilde key here to expand my view. Then we are going to turn on the cast shadows for all of them. As you can see, we have a shadow in our scene and it's based on the position of our light. So if I move the light, the shadow will change. Now let's give our cube a little animation. We are going to parent all of our sides to this null object by dragging on this pick whip and letting go on the null object. Now we can animate the position of our null object. I'm gonna press P. We're gonna create a new keyframe by clicking on the stopwatch icon, then going 10 frames forward and move it in the Y. Go a couple of frames forward, create another keyframe, and at the 1 second we are going to bring the cube back to the ground. We can simply copy this keyframe and paste it here. We are going to select our keyframes and right click on them, go to keyframe assistant and just choose easy ease, or you can press F9 on your keyboard. Okay, we want it to turn 180 degrees when it's up in the air. I'm gonna just move these keyframes to have a little bit of space while our cube is up in the air. Now select the null object, press R for rotation, and we are going to rotate it on the Y axis. So our cube comes in the air, rotates 180 degrees and goes back down. To add a text to one of our sides, we can select the side, right click on the layer and choose pre-compose. We are going to select leave all the attributes. Now if we double click on the layer, you can see our solid layer and we can simply add any text that we want. Now if we go back to our main composition, we can see the text. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. Thank you for watching.